Coming to you from the capital of Bulgaria, the pretty city of Sofia, I'm here in this beautiful country to deliver some talks on business. Bulgaria in southeastern Europe is located right above Greece and Turkey. It's heavily influenced by Greek, Slavic, Ottoman, and Persian cultures. But let's jump into this. Law 23. Concentrate your forces. Conserve your forces and energies by keeping them concentrated at their strongest point. You gain more by finding a rich mine and mining it deeper than by fleeting from one shallow mine to another. Intensity defeats extensity every time. When looking for sources of power to elevate you, find the one key patron, the fat cow who will give you milk for a long time to come. Greene starts this law with a story from 6th century BC, China. He talks about how the kingdom of Wu fell because it engaged in warfare when it was not in danger. Basically, it wanted to broaden its borders, and in doing so, stretched itself thin. As Greene says, drunk with success and sick with ambition, such empires expand to grotesque proportions and meet a ruin that is total. This is what happened to ancient Athens, which lusted for the faraway island of Sicily and ended up losing its empire. The Romans stretched the boundaries of their empire to encompass vast territories. In doing so, they increased their vulnerability and the chances of invasion from yet another barbarian tribe. Their useless expansion led their empire into oblivion. Greene's point? Don't start on dessert when you haven't eaten the main course yet. Focus on what's in front of you. He then tells the story of how the Rothschilds became a force in politics and finance. They did it by keeping it within the family, specifically between the 5 brothers, to the extent of marrying direct relatives. For example, when time came to marry, brother James married his brother Solomon's daughter, and other family members carried on from there. With this intense desire to keep everything within the family, they completely excluded outsiders from their operations and their monopoly on information. Their entire focus was on keeping their growing empire amongst blood. Greene then goes on to mention historical figures who concentrated all of their resources on one point, one person, one idea. Such as Napoleon, who always focused on the enemy's weakest spot. The notorious seducer Casanova, who focused on one woman at a time. Galileo had only one patron, the powerful Medici family. Michelangelo's sole service was to Pope Julius II, and Nikola Tesla destroyed himself by remaining independent and not having one boss to answer to, who could fund his endeavors. In a reversal of the law, Greene mentions a few situations where concentration on one could be disastrous. For instance, when you only work for one powerful and rich patron, and he dies, you're out of luck. Therefore, you should attach yourself to multiple sources of power. Also, having multiple interests and disciplines could give you an advantage over concentrating on just one. Da Vinci set himself apart from the crowd because he was passionate about architecture, painting, warfare, sculpture, mechanics. Additionally, if you're a small fighting force, you should not focus all of your efforts on one part of the larger army. You should attack them from all sides, using trickery, misdirection, trying to confuse them, like successful guerrilla groups do all the time. Greene provided a lot of reversals to this law. The first thought that came to me when reading this law was an often cited rule about investing: diversify. When you place all your eggs in one basket, concentrating your forces, and that basket disintegrates, you're in deep trouble. But this is in stark contrast to the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett, and other great investors who don't believe in diversification. They actually abide by this law of Greene's of concentrating your resources and knowledge. As I said in one of the first vlogs, none of these laws are absolute. Also, these laws, as well as many things in life, are situational. Like this law would say no to multitasking, but sometimes you have to. Another thought that came to me was by trying to please everyone, you please no one. So please the most important person to you first. Yourself. Although in principle I believe in Greene's law, there are circumstances when it would work against you, and even he knows it with all of his reversals. Anyway, that's all for Law 23, concentrate your forces. And when you do, according to Greene, you're able to attain some power. Signing out from beautiful Sofia, Bulgaria, take care and be awesome. Peace.